few days in now to the bye week. Just how do you feel like the team has handled these last few days, and just how productive things have been?
Sunday was recovery day off. We didn't see the guys. They had treatment, but we didn't see them. And then Monday was a recovery day that we put the game to bed and looked at future opponents and did some walkthrough stuff and got them out of here a little bit to get a little freedom. And then today we went back to work and had some good work today. I thought the guys had a really good attitude. Took on some more opponents for the future, and we've been prepared mostly as a coaching staff on things we got coming up.
How much has the experience in the receiving room helped you guys? Like some of those guys coming back for their second year, and some of those more experienced guys having that mentorship role for the others?
Well, I'll take experience anytime. I mean, talent and experience are valuable. I don't know which one I'd rank ahead of the other because talent as a young player and experience as an older player are both valuable. And we've got some really unselfish people in there. I think when you look at Marcus Rosemy and what he's been through in injuries and coming back, Marion, what he's been through in injuries and coming back, Tom, what he's been through in injuries and coming back, and even Ladd. You know, it's like those guys really care about each other. They compete. They've got a great unit in there, and trying to get all of them back at full strength.
Kirby, you mentioned some of the future opponents. Will you work on a bit for each of those 5 remaining games, or just like teams that have new wrinkles, or what?
No, we try to work on all of them. We don't have enough time. You know, we only got 3 days, so we assign out to the staff every team, and they give a presentation to the rest of the staff on that team what they might be doing new from this summer and anything new they're doing this year that we might need to prepare for. And if anything's an oddity or it's really different, then we work on it today and tomorrow, and then we start towards Florida on Thursday.
From where you stand on the field, does it like Stetson is more comfortable this year than he was last year behind center? Or what do you think is, I guess, behind some of those, I guess, going to him in the passing game a bit more than last year?
No, I think he's more comfortable. He's gotten more reps. We all talked about the off season, how many more reps he took with the ones. I mean, his upside, he had a lot of room because he had not taken a ton of spring practice reps, fall camp reps. He had taken them, but he had taken them with threes. So his ability to get a lot of work in the spring with the ones and a lot of work in fall camp with the ones has improved him as a player.
Sorry about that. Obviously, there's going to be a lot of talk about potentially looking ahead, you know, with who you have on the schedule coming ahead. How, as a coach, can you tell whether when your team is 100% locked in, when they might be, you know, looking ahead, not necessarily having their eye on the ball?
Yeah, this is Georgia-Florida matchup. I don't think you have to worry about that. I mean, I might understand if it was a non-conference or an FCS, but that's not going to be the case on Georgia-Florida.
Yeah, Kirby, I know the bye week is usually where y'all do a lot of self-scouting and things like that. Just what do the nuts and bolts of that look like? Is it looking at film? Is it taking things out of the practice field? What does that look like for you guys through this weekend and next week?
I just look at everything. We go back and say, why has it been the way it's been, and can you explain it? You know, some statistics don't have enough real-time examples. You know, you don't have sample sizes. Like you evaluate punt, we got 15 punts. You know, that's not normal to have 15 punts. So you can't. It's harder to evaluate that. You know, we're not great in giving up return yards, but we're really pretty good in net because we have 2 returns on the entire year. You can't get a sample size from 2 returns. So you look at what you've done well, what you've done poorly, and how can we do it better? And we sit down as coaches and say, all right, what do we need to do to win the next 5 games, 6 games, and we target that area and really focusing on our weaknesses and trying to strengthen our strong points.
Kirby talked before about how sacks aren't the key metric, but where do your all's metrics, analytics say you all are as far as pass pressure in general, and does it need to get better?
Yeah, it needs to get better, but we need an opportunity. You know, we did a real hard study on that and did a game-by-game breakdown of snap to throw, and it's faster than it's ever been in one of our 6 or 7 game breakdowns before the bye weeks. We've played teams that have gotten rid of the ball really, really quick. I think the Auburn game was the only game that was over 3 seconds per pass, and I think that factors in the scrambles, you know, where he ran around with the ball and threw them away. So there hasn't been a lot of opportunities, but that doesn't mean that we can't do a better job. And we've studied that really, really hard in terms of just looking at ourselves. And we're telling them, hey, if it's 2.6 that you got to get there by, then you got to get there by 2.6, or you have to affect the throw. And we've had several really good rushes where we affected throws in terms of bull, batting balls, and I'm saying bull, I said bull rush to get the quarterback, get somebody in the quarterback's lap to affect his throw. But, you know, tough to be where we are sack-wise and just not getting a lot of opportunities.
We've gotten to see a little bit of Dalen, especially last Saturday. Just what have you seen from his development through this first year?
I talk about him a lot when I say that. It just doesn't seem like he's a freshman, because I keep thinking back to spring, you know, him being here and all. But he's a freshman, and he sometimes makes freshman mistakes, but he's got a composure about him that I really like. He doesn't let a lot of things affect him. He's not real emotional. He has the mindset of a corner that's going to be a really good player. I don't know when that's going to happen, but he's got quiet confidence. He's smart. He's a really tough tackler. He's continuing to get better. And there's a learning curve that you have to go through. Again, it is rare. You show me a freshman corner that's been really successful in our league, and I'll tell you, he's probably the first top 10 pick. The only two I can think of are Stingley and Shortan. It's just hard to do that. And he's not, you know, he's getting better. He goes against good guys every day at practice.
Coach, I want to fall on the sword a little bit here, because it's and ask you this week as opposed to next week. It's Georgia Florida week, and you get asked about it every year. Do you still feel the same way? And I don't think you really get a chance to expound on it, or maybe you don't want to, about whether you want it played there or not. But if any expounding you could do on what your feelings are about this game being played in Jacksonville as opposed to home and home.
Yeah, there's really quality benefits to both. And you guys, I get it. You want to make a story, you need a story, everybody wants to talk about it. It's really not a big debate for me. It's been made really big by the media, because they've made it out to be a really big deal. I enjoy the pageantry of going down there and playing. I enjoyed playing there as a player. I enjoy tradition. I enjoy all those things. When it comes down to it, there's the very, very basic element of everything comes back to, number one, money, and number two, recruiting and getting good players. I firmly believe that we'll be able to sign better players by having home and home, because we'll have more opportunities to get them to campus. But I also think there's a financial factor that factors into that, with having the game there and being able to make more money for the university possibly there. So you have to weigh both of those and make really good decisions. But I promise you, I have not thought about that 1 second since the start of the season. And I'm not going to think about it for 1 second, because I got to worry about coaching our team. And I'm not fighting the fight in the public forum. I'm not fighting a fight for anything. I'm worried about our team and us playing well and how we block and tackle and what plays we call and how we play special teams. That's just not a priority for me where that game is right now.
Appreciate it.
Coach, I saw you had Shep Shepard in yesterday to speak to the team. What kind of message does he deliver here at this midpoint?
Oh, he's incredible. He does a really good job. I have a lot of respect for his messaging. He says it in a way that nobody can say but him. A lot of times you like to say the same thing as a coach, but I can't say it the way he says it. And he does a tremendous job messaging things to kind of put you in perspective of where you are on this journey and what do I have to do to get to my destination. And he did a really incredible job with our team.
Kirby, I want to get an update on the injuries. Jalen, Smile, and Kendall, and AD, as far as, you know, primarily those guys.
Very promising on Smile. He went today more than he's gone in 2 weeks and was in drills and did things and moved around. I would not say that he was 100%, but the fact he was out there, did punting, he covered people. He's not 100%, but he did way more than he's done the last few weeks. I feel really good about where Smile's at. I didn't get to see AD much. He's still not able to go in our drill work. He did condition with us and run and looked better. Jalen's continuing to work on the MCL, and he's not out there with us conditioning. He does his in the training room and the weight room. He does stuff for those guys because of where he's at with the MCL. Who's the last one?
Kendall.
Kendall felt better. He ran yesterday and today, but he did not practice and rep with us. He did just straight line running.
And after Saturday, Ladd, full go?
No, Ladd's good. Ladd could have gone back in. Ladd's fine, but Ladd has a toe injury. I mentioned to you guys before. This is different than the ankle. So with the ankle and the toe, we're giving him some medicine and taking care of him, and he's going to cut back some this week. But again, he could have come back in the game, and he could play this Saturday if we're playing Saturday. But we're going to shut him down for a little bit for a couple of days and try to get some medicine in there and try to get him back for the stretch run so he can go.
Kirby, has there been any new updates with C.J. Washington, just how he's been coming along?
Yeah, we've seen CJ from time to time. Man, it's been really tough on him. He's as any kid would be. He's a freshman in college, and he got football taken away from him for right now, and it's been pretty emotional for him, and been a tough road. And we continue to try to help and support him as best we can.
Kirby, what have you seen from Jamon Dumas-Johnson this season, and just maybe the ways his game has grown from last year to this year?
Confidence. I mean, he started showing up making plays when he first got here, and I don't know if you consider him highly touted. I don't really know. I just know we really liked him, and we liked his demeanor. We liked where he was from. We liked his program, toughness that he played in, and we liked the way he was on Zooms and talking to him. And he got here, and he was a little heavy because he had not played, and he started making plays. And we're like, man, this guy's a good player. Of course, we had some good players in front of him. And he's blossomed really well this year, and probably the greatest strides he's made is in his leadership and his command of our defense at a young age. Like he's not afraid to hold people accountable, which is hard for a sophomore.
Hey Coach, two guys that have clearly been through a lot, Dominic Blaylock and Henry Gilbert got touchdowns last Saturday. Just wanted to see how proud you and the team are of them and their success.
Dom and who?
Gilbert.
Yeah, I'm super proud for both those guys. Dom to get that catch and AG to get that catch. I think it's really incredible for both. And Dom's been through think about 2 ACL injuries, and to come back and have the success he's had. He's as tough a kid as I've ever been through, as quiet a kid that I've ever been around, that just does not complain about anything, and he just goes out and works.
Do you think you use Dom's story to inspire kids like Washington?
Well, it's a little different. I mean, there's a neck injury there that's pretty serious. People come back from ACLs, and unfortunately he's got 2, but when you start talking about a neck injury, you're talking about the rest of your life, and just a tough call there.
When talking about Keely, we talk so much, obviously the measurables, the physical talent, but you've also spoken a lot about him wanting to improve his confidence and play better that way. How have you seen him grow in that aspect during the course of the season?
Talking about Keely?
Yeah, Keely.
Well, he's playing with a more awareness in terms of coverages, route recognition. There's a lot to play in a corner that you got to play, and he hadn't played a lot like what you think of a lot of football. He didn't play his freshman year, and then last year he battled into the starting position, I guess, after game 2 or 3, and then he's played a lot of football since then. But he's still growing as a player. He's really improved his tackling and his toughness. It's always important in that corner that you make plays on the ball, and he's got opportunities to do that, and he'll continue to get opportunities because I can promise you the next teams we're going to play are going to throw the ball, on our corners. So we're going to have to make plays.
Got time for 2 more questions.
Okay, I was going to ask about Truss because I don't think you gave an update on him, and also regarding Gilbert. Is an open week, give them more benefit when they're going to prepare for it in terms of other than catch up to speed more on things?
I hope so. I think it gives them an opportunity to practice and get more reps and get an opportunity to go out and compete, and even on special teams, like to go out and compete and do things. Truss is fine. He practiced all today.
On the tight ends, first 7 games, would there have been maybe more 13 personnel, more rotating if Eric had been ready to go the whole time, or has it kind of played out the way it would have either way?
I don't know if I can answer that. I don't know. I mean, 13 gives you a chance to do some things, but sometimes having similar bodies doesn't cause problems for a defense. Like, it just sounds good. Everybody likes it because it sounds good. But eventually you have to have space players to create space. And some of our best plays have been space plays, like Ladd out in space, Kieris out in space, Dylan Bell and Rosemy and AD when he's healthy. I mean, you got to have space players to play. I'm not saying tight ends aren't, but you kind of start playing in a phone booth when you start doing 13. And really, Darnell's greatest attribute is his size and his ability to do things in the run game and then play action off of it. AG's kind of similar in that regard. Brock's a little more space, so I don't know that it would have been any more or not. And Oscar's come along well, and he gives us that luxury to do that too. We do it more based on what we think how the other defense will play it.
Thank you, Coach.
Thanks.